Hello, everybody. Tracy, Mrs. JDog Flanagan with you here today. I'm the co-founder and senior vice president at JDog Brands. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Tactical Treasures podcast, sponsored by the JDog Foundation. Our podcast gives the military community a voice in the veteran space to share their stories of service, how they continue to make a difference in civilian life, and they share with me a tactical treasure that has shaped their journey in their military career, business, or life. Today, I am honored to speak with Robert Worthington. Dr. Robert Worthington is an accomplished aeronautical expert and public servant recently confirmed by the Maryland Senate to the Maryland Aviation Commission and the Board of Airport Zoning Appeals. His career began with 13 years in the United States Air Force as an air traffic controller, a foundation that led to strategic roles with NASA, the FAA, and his current position as an aeronautical information analyst at Leidos. A lifelong learner, Dr. Worthington earned his doctorate in business administration with a focus on data-driven leadership while at Leidos. He is also the founder of the Worthington Group Aviation and an author. His first memoir, In My Brother's Shadow, explores his personal family history, while his upcoming book, Flight Path, examines his career and the unique challenges faced by Black air traffic controllers. Guided by the philosophy that hard work and discipline can carry one further than talent alone, Dr. Worthington continues to shape the future of regional aviation through leadership and dedicated public service. Hello, Robert. Welcome to Tactical Treasures podcast, and thank you so much for your service to our country.
Thank you for having me, Tracy. I really appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to our discussion today. We have a lot to talk about. Although I would like to ask you just a couple questions about your military career. What inspired you to join the Air Force?
Well, I was a military brat, so I grew up on a military base. My father was a United States Army drill sergeant. So I was born on Fort Stewart Army Base in Hinesville, Georgia. I grew up on the military base. So I had an interest in the military. I just wasn't sure it was going to be the United States Army. So therefore, as I grew and I started watching more of the commercials, the Air Force had the coolest commercials. So I decided I became friends with an Air Force recruiter. I used to play basketball with him, and we became fast friends. And that was probably my pipeline to going into the United States Air Force.
I love it. I've heard everything from the uniform was cool to I have to say I haven't really heard the commercials were the
The,
best.
the aim high commercials were the best.
I love it. That's great. Um, so 13 years of service in the Air Force. Um, was there a particular aspect or moment from your time in service that stood out as impactful in a positive way for you?
Right. Well, there are lots of memories of being in the United States Air Force that were impactful. It was the being belonging to something bigger than yourself. It was always about the group over the individual. Those were some of the things that we were taught, and it was instilled in us. It carried along with my background as being an athlete. I'd always been a teammate as a basketball player. So being in the
Mhm.
Air Force, I was another teammate now, just as a military member. So those type of social development skills were enhanced, I think, during my time in the military. Traveling, getting a chance to see the world. I traveled in Europe and all around the country as a military member. Those memories are ingrained with me in me for life. So I cherish them. I think I benefited from them having a holistic global view of the world because I've seen more than most.
Mhm.
So I think those stand out.
Right, right. So, in when you were in the Air Force, you were an air traffic controller, correct?
Yes.
And I think that that actually translated after you got out. You had positions, multiple roles at the Pentagon, NASA. Um, had tell me about that, just a little bit about that journey.
Right. Well, the air traffic control position in the military, obviously, it's a little different because as a civilian, you don't get to talk to fighter jets. As an air traffic controller in the United States Air Force, we had F-16s that were flying. We had P-3 Navy flights. So you had military operations that you didn't actually have to deal with as a civilian air traffic controller. Working at NASA and dealing with the Space Force. I was at Patrick Air Force Base. I think it's Patrick Space Force Base now. That was Space Command headquarters when I was in the Air Force. So a lot of the shuttle facilities and stuff, and the flights and the training missions would be in that area. So
Hmm.
working with the United States Air Force, the civilian forces at NASA allowed you to work in integral roles with the space shuttle, whether it was piggybacking, coming back in, or whether it was getting the T-38 pilots training and doing training maneuvers there. I was also fortunate enough to have a special duty assignment to help develop the flight line driving program for all the civilian drivers who operate at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. So it was a very exciting career. I got a chance to see the space shuttle up close before it retired. So again, great memories.
Wow. Wow, that's really awesome. Um, so read that you were recently confirmed by the Maryland Senate to the Maryland Aviation Commission and the Board of Airport Zoning Appeals. Um,
Yes.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what exactly will you do there?
Sure. Well, the Aviation Commission for Maryland Aviation works and stuff and overseeing a lot of the budgetary interests, the construction that is happening at the Maryland airports, including Baltimore Washington International Airport and Martin State Airport, a much smaller regional airport. But BWI is a really busy facility. It's, I believe, the fifth most busiest airport in the United States. A lot of traffic comes out of there. It's a great airport. A lot of construction is happening. So, as a part of the commission, your job is making sure that you're staying in line as far as governance of how the airport is governing. Also, attending conferences where you're briefing the community about what's happening. A
Mhm.
lot of times, you have a meeting, in particular, noise abatement meetings, where people are saying, I purchased my home. I've never had this problem before with airplanes flying over my house. Now, all of a sudden, they're flying over my house. And a lot of times, they're saying the airplanes are at 200 feet. And we're like, well, they can't fly at 200 feet over your house, but we get it. They're loud. They're flying in a
Mhm.
different direction. The runway's been extended. So you want to keep not only at the forefront of governing the airport, but also making sure that the community stays involved in what's happening. And that's part of the commission's job.
Right, right. So you currently are an aeronautical information analyst at Leidos. Um, but you are kind of on the brink of starting an aviation consulting company, correct?
That's correct. I'm currently a data analyst for Leidos. My job includes collecting, validating, modifying, revising aviation and airport data at hundreds of airports in the United States. Some of my colleagues have international responsibilities. I currently do not. But it's a very exciting career. You're analyzing things that are provide direct data and information that helps ensure safety at aviation throughout the United States. Starting my own aviation consulting company, the Worthington Group Aviation, was a personal goal that I wanted to do. I got a chance to speak with some of the senior leadership within Leidos. It was advised that obviously and stuff, you have to make sure there's no conflict of interest. You're not actually pursuing any contracts that the company's pursuing. So I'm pretty well aware of those things, and I make sure that I will notify and make sure Leidos is informed of any type of contracts I may pursue. If there's any conflict, I cannot pursue them. The same thing with being a aviation commission member. I can't pursue any work with BWI. So you have to be cognizant of those type things. But I look forward for the challenges of starting a company and being an entrepreneur. And I believe my experience at Leidos, my military experience, have all provided a way and prepared me to pursue that business venture.
Right, right. And so you're hoping, I believe, I'm correct in saying that you're hoping to partner with other organizations to provide consulting for aviation. Is that correct?
Absolutely. You can't be a jack of all trades. You can't do everything. There's a niche of things I'm going to be doing and stuff as far as aviation consulting that will include air traffic control, system matter experts, just some aviation advisory and governance. Those things and stuff are in my privilege to do. They're in my experience, but there are other opportunities and stuff where you're partnering with other military-owned businesses and companies. Even opportunity maybe to partner with Leidos and do some
Mhm.
work within the company that I'm working with from a veteran-owned business. So those are
Right,
opportunities out there certainly to partner up with others.
right. Are you hoping to possibly get into the training area of air traffic controllers?
I have not thought about that possibility, Tracy.
Mm,
But again, because there are so many different aviation entities out there with the expansion and opportunities now, where the not only is the air traffic controller field modifying their equipment, they're looking to bring in new air traffic controllers. So they're trained at different levels now. When I came through, there was an opportunity where you would actually go to the air traffic control academy. You would
mhm,
complete that academy. Very, very difficult to complete. But if you complete that journey and you would go into the field where you would be assigned to a place where you would get training at that particular location and get certified as a controller. Now there are opportunities at some community colleges, some four-year universities, some other private institutions that are providing air traffic control training that's going to hopefully make the people who go to the academy more prepared for the opportunity when they get there. They're not just starting from a zero sheet of paper, and they're going to be more prepared. Therefore, hopefully the graduation rate will be higher, more qualified controllers will graduate. So there's certainly opportunities for training. Hadn't thought about it, but it's certainly something I would be open to, and working with making sure the best people, best trained people are in the facilities we need as we advance and improve our air traffic control systems.
right, right. I mean, we rely on our pilots and our air traffic controllers to keep safety in the skies, correct?
Absolutely. And it's been my experience that, we have the best controllers in the world. I believe we have the best trained controllers, and that's also a part of the problem.
Hmm.
The process is so stringent, it's so challenging to get through. There's not a large percentage of people who get through the program. So therefore,
Wow.
when you have a smaller percentage getting through, when you get to the point where retirement age is at 55 and you're losing those controllers, you got to be able to replace them. And
Right,
now that process is still tough. It's still challenging. So the point of it is with some of the advancements we're making and some of the new opportunities for training is to train a larger segment of the population, make sure they're better prepared before they go to the academy, enhancing their chances of getting through the academy and graduating because it's very challenging. It's not something that should be easy, and it isn't easy.
right.
So we look. That's how we make sure that we're getting the best qualified people in the jobs.
The best of the best, right?
Yes,
You
absolutely.
spent years following a mission. You understand discipline, grit, and the power of a team. But what happens when the uniform comes off? For the veteran and the military family, the desire to serve doesn't just disappear. At JDog, we don't just offer a job, we offer a new mission. We provide a proven path for you and your family to own a business that operates on the values you live by: respect, integrity, and trust. Join a national brotherhood of veterans and military families who are reclaiming their futures and leading their communities. Your next chapter isn't just about a career, it's about building a legacy. To learn more, go to jdog.com. Not only are you doing all this stuff that we've talked about already, but you are an author as well.
Yes. Yes.
You've written a book called In My Brother's Shadow,
Yes.
and you are currently working on a second book called
Right.
Flight Path. I would
Right.
love for you to talk to me about what inspired you to write your first book.
Okay. The first book was inspired by my pursuit of my doctoral degree. And in doing so, you had to define your why you're
Mhm.
pursuing this journey. And the gist behind that was this was going to be such a challenging position to take up to pursue this doctoral study. You're going to have to ask yourself at some point, why am I doing this? Because it's that challenging.
Mm,
So in answering that question and pursuing that opportunity, which I actually completed the doctoral journey, um, I was like, my story was certain things that were happening. Like we all have our stories. And I started writing, and I started journaling, and I started writing, and that turned into an opportunity to say, well, I didn't notice about myself. There were certain things that happened in my life that I wasn't sure why they happened. I didn't think about it at the time. But as I started putting pen to paper and writing, and I really did actually write the book because I don't know how to use the social media stuff to write it for me. So I wrote it.
Okay.
Certainly had to hire an editing team afterwards, but
Hmm.
it became a personal journey of my life from someone that came from limited beginnings, growing up in an urban community. My parents did not finish high school. My siblings didn't finish high school. I became the first person in my family to graduate from high school, to graduate from college. And I didn't think those opportunities and stuff came to me because I was special. I was determined to do so.
Hmm.
The story also takes me to the point when I got to college on a basketball scholarship. I eventually lost that scholarship. I was going through a very terminal period of time. It was my very first year in college as a freshman. And we as a family received devastating news. At that time,
Hmm.
my driving force was my older brother. He was an A student in school. He was a superstar basketball player. So I wanted to do everything like he did it.
Hmm.
And my freshman year of college, he was arrested. He was arrested. He was charged with a crime. That crime was first degree murder.
Oh
And
dear.
it's been 40 years. He's still in prison. It was a devastating effect on our family,
Mm,
changed everyone's lives.
I can
That's the
imagine.
reflection of the book, In My Brother's Shadow.
Mm.
Both of my books are personal journeys. The second book, Flight Path, is a journey about air traffic control. It's following a little boy who grew up watching Star Trek and was, going to the airport and sitting on the side of the road and watching the airplanes come in and land, and following that path from going through that to air traffic control towers and stuff in different locations around the world, becoming an air traffic controller, and the point that it's such a challenging position that we all come from different perspectives. I interviewed maybe 2 dozen former controllers I work with as I wrote this book. It's actually in the final stages, going through editing right now. So I have completed the manuscript. But I'm looking forward to that book coming out. It's a fantastic story, I believe, and it gives some insights into air traffic control behind the scenes that I think is going to be making for interesting reading.
Oh wow. Wow, I love it. So, when do you expect that book to hit the shelves, so to speak?
Yes. Well, I'm hoping and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that my editing team doesn't chop it up too much and give me too much to revise and rewrite when they send it back to me. So the goal was to complete it by the summer, and hopefully it's on the bookshelves in July, in the summer for publication.
Oh wow, that's great. Wow, we'll have to
Fingers
keep an eye.
crossed. Keeping our fingers crossed.
Yes, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. That's just amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for uh, being so vulnerable and allowing us, the public to take a look into your life and hopefully gain lessons learned and
That's
how to move forward
right.
even in the face of tragedy,
Right.
you know.
That's the goal, the resilience and stuff of having to deal with everyday life like so many others of us have dealt with. We all have sometime had to overcome some obstacles, some of them bigger than and larger than others. But you have to be resilient because life is going to happen to you. And I've shared that story at some of the middle schools and high schools in this
Hmm.
area. I had a chance to go speak with them. We also did a virtual and in-person um, book event at Lidos, which was well received, and lessons there. And I've gotten some great feedback from the book, and I'm very excited about it. And I still talk about it, and I still get a chance to go speak to some folks about it. And again, they're like, "Oh my God, it's a tragedy." So it is a tragic story, but it's also a story of resilience and overcoming that tragedy and not
Right,
letting that setback stop
right, right. I love it. That's great.
you. Thank you.
Um, so Robert, this has been amazing. I think you're doing amazing stuff. Um, and I'm excited to see how your aviation consulting company comes together. I know that you're currently working on the website,
Yes.
so that will be exciting, and we'll stay tuned to possibly your LinkedIn for that launch.
Absolutely. It'll be linked. It'll be on my LinkedIn, also on my Instagram. I'm looking forward to it. I'm very, very excited about it. Certainly something that is challenging, standing up a business and starting it and stuff again. going to the EBV program was a great opportunity to get
Mm.
some resources and to see a direction on how you follow up with your dreams. I've used that as a roadmap, and I've followed it. And we're right now, right at that point where we're ready to get ready to launch this business really, really soon. We're taking all the steps right now to do so.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm excited for you.
Thank you so
Um,
much, Tracy.
but we have come to the point in the podcast, Robert, where I need to ask you, what is your tactical treasure? What would you like to share with us today that has helped you in your journey in the military, in your life? What would you like
Well,
to
I,
share?
I think my tactical treasure would be resilience,
Mm,
because we're all going to have to deal with some obstacles and what was going to be put in front of us. Some of us may see them because we have low expectations of ourselves. Some of us won't see them because we're looking above those things, but we're going to be encountering them. How do you deal with it? What keeps you going when it gets hard? For me, it's always that self motivation of like, and this is my goal. I challenge myself to complete it, and it's not completed until I actually complete it. Even if it's hard, even if it doesn't go in a straight line, we're gonna have some setbacks. We take those and stuff with road bumps, and we just continue to ride over them until the road smooths out and continue to move forward. Stay resilient. You can overcome any obstacle if you're determined to do so.
mm. I love that. That is a great tactical treasure. And you're right. How resilient are you when life smacks you in the face? Because
Absolutely,
it's going to smack you in the face. It's
it's
inevitable.
going to. It is.
Somehow, some way, how do you pick yourself up and dust yourself
Yeah.
off and move
Yeah.
forward? That's what
Right.
really matters. That's a great tactical treasure. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you,
Um,
Tracy.
I have another question before we wrap up our time
Hmm.
here. Any advice for your fellow veterans that are struggling post service, trying to figure out what their next step is in life after they've served the country?
Right. I would suggest and I would advise all of our veterans to lean on one another. We've
Mm,
all had shared experiences and similar experiences. Therefore, we may understand something you're dealing with more so than someone who's never experienced those things. There's a vast network out there of resources of veterans working to help veterans. For instance, I'm here today because of the Veteran Connection.
mm-hmm.
There's so many others out there that are willing to help, and because we have that shared connection, that shared experience, there are far more people out there willing to help you than you think. They're just out there waiting for you to reach out to them. Reach out to your federal veterans. They're there to help you, and they're willing to help
Yeah, I love it. That's great advice. I hear that a lot too,
you.
but
Yes.
the first step is reaching out.
You
Um,
have
you
to reach
can
out.
you can find
Right.
that veteran community again after service completely.
Yes.
Um, so Robert, before we go, can you tell us where people can find and connect with you, and where they can purchase your first book, and how we can keep track of the Worthington Group Aviation launch?
Sure, sure. My Worthington Group Aviation launch will be on my website. It's under Dr. Robert Worthington or the Worthington Group Aviation. Also, my book can be purchased at Amazon. It's currently on Amazon. I believe it was supposed to hit the stores this summer and some of the Barnes and Noble stores and the Walmart shopping center. So it's actually going to be there where you can purchase it as well. But on Amazon, in my brother's shadow, you can search it. It pops up. I've had a lot of sales. I have a lot of contacts and communication from there. I'm looking forward to launching the Worthington Group Aviation. It's going to be, again, announced on my LinkedIn, also my website, www. Worthington Group Aviation will be coming and operating in June 1st.
Okay, great. We'll keep an eye out for that, and we'll
Thank you.
stay close to your LinkedIn to um, look at the launch of the website.
Thank you so much, Tracy.
Hello, viewers and listeners. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Tactical Treasures Podcast. We've just finished up a very interesting conversation with Dr. Robert Worthington, who is a United States Air Force veteran and the founder of the Worthington Group Aviation. And he is also an author. From the high stakes towers of the United States Air Force to shaping the future of regional flight on the Maryland Aviation Commission, Dr. Robert Worthington's career is a masterclass in discipline and purpose. While he is widely recognized for his technical expertise as an aeronautical information analyst at Leidos and his academic achievements in data-driven leadership, his influence extends far beyond the tarmac through his entrepreneurial and literary contributions. Dr. Worthington uses his voice to navigate complex narratives of family, race, and professional excellence. In his first book, In My Brother's Shadow, a published memoir, Dr. Worthington offers a deeply personal look at his relationship with his brother. The book explores the profound emotional and social impact of his brother's arrest and imprisonment, highlighting the resilience required to navigate such a challenging family dynamic. His second book, which is in the works, Flight Path, turns the lens toward the cockpit and control tower. It provides an essential perspective on his journey as an air traffic controller, specifically addressing the unique challenges and systemic hurdles faced by Black controllers in the aviation industry. Beyond his state appointments and corporate roles, Dr. Worthington is the founder of the Worthington Group Aviation. This consulting firm serves as the culmination of his 13 years in the Air Force, his strategic work with NASA and the FAA, and his doctoral research. Through this venture, he provides elite-level insight into airport operations and aviation strategy, proving that mastery in the field is not just about managing traffic, it's about leading the industry forward. To purchase his first book, go to Amazon.com and search In My Brother's Shadow. To connect with Dr. Robert Worthington, you can find him on LinkedIn, Dr. Robert Worthington, and stay tuned to his LinkedIn as he launches the beginning of June, the Worthington Group Aviation website. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, you can find Tactical Treasures podcasts on all your favorite streaming podcast platforms, on our website, tacticaltreasurespodcast.com, as well as our dedicated YouTube channel. As an official radio partner, Tactical Treasures is airing on Reese Across America Radio on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern for the encore. You can also find Reese Across America Radio on the iHeartRadio app, the Odyssey app, and the TuneIn app. JDog is honored to be an official Wreaths Across America sponsorship group. When you sponsor a $17 Veterans Wreath through our group, $5 goes straight to the JDog Foundation to help heal our heroes. Your contribution directly supports our mission to prevent veteran suicide and provide lasting mental health and PTS resources. You can donate right now at wreathsacrossamerica.org/JDog. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again on another podcast real soon. Bye-bye now.